Welcome to the Modern Streamers League. Joined with me, St. Doom, is Francisco Palachek, Andrea Biaggi. Hopefully I pronounced your names correctly. Francisco, how are you doing tonight?
Close enough. Doing well. I actually played Legacy today on stream for the first time in like a month now since the showcase qualifier, and it was kind of great, honestly. It was long though. It took me 6 hours to finish 10 matches, so it is grindy. People think the Legacy is a turn 1 or 2 format, and that's just not the case.
That sounds like a turn 30 or 40 format, or very long turns.
Yeah, I actually timed out for the first time on stream in probably over a year, so that was definitely a first in a while. Cool though, good time.
Awesome. And Andrea, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Really busy with work, but besides that, I'm doing great.
You shaved your beard. I'm disappointed.
I did. I didn't want to make you feel ashamed of your short beard.
Then I take that previous statement back. I'm no longer disappointed. I'm honored that you shaved the beard so my beard be slightly more impressive on camera. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
I can use all the boosts I can get because, as we know, I had a loss recently, my first Modern Streamers League loss, so I gotta be. My ego needs to be picked up whenever it can. So this tournament, the Modern Streamers League tournament that we have for you this season, is a triple elimination tournament. Each player brings 3 modern decks to the tournament. When they lose, that deck is eliminated from the tournament. So when I lost Babs & Company, it's gone forever. We actually have a pretty good mix here right now. I'm in the losers bracket because I have 1 loss. We have Francisco in the elimination bracket because he has 2 losses. And Andrea over there, undefeated, so far dominating this winner's bracket.
Taking your spot.
Taking my spot, yeah.
Brutal.
So
Astral Ren is going to go the distance, don't worry about it.
Astral Ren, I know it. If it does, I'm going to buy that deck if it does. I'm going to buy like a full foil copy of that deck and bring it forever. That's going to be the new Jund, Astral Ren.
Dude, I mean, it really dominates Jund, so there's that.
It just looks really fun as well.
It is fun, yeah. I mean, if it weren't fun, trust me, I would not be playing.
I'm ready for it in the finals.
Yep.
So tonight we are going to open up with Garrett Martin playing against me. I'm assuming Garrett's going to play a creature-based deck, so I'm going to bring old trusty Jund to the table. And hopefully I can do what Drake was doing last night and just keep looping Seal of Fires to end my opponent's creatures, just one by one, punishing fire and kind of win through those means. That's the goal. So all in all, Modern Streamers League, which is brought to you tonight, we are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and by Card Hoarder. So much thanks to them. But I want to jump into a match as soon as possible because I just want to. Garrett's been talking a lot of trash on Twitter, and I just want to end this here and now. So we're gonna have a quick little break. We'll show you the full standing brackets. You'll see Andrea in the winner's bracket undefeated, me in the loser's bracket with my 1 loss, and Francisco in the elimination bracket with his 2 losses, but still playing fantastically with his brew, that Astral Ren deck, which is just the best spice I've seen in a long time. So we'll be back in just a minute.
All right, let's do this. Garrett, what you got for us? Sirda. All
Ooh,
right.
nice.
All right. I can get behind this.
Card that is banned in Legacy now.
Banned in Legacy since Monday. That's true. Too broken. Let's see how broken it is in Modern.
You don't have the monoliths, so it's gonna be less broken probably.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Garrett's deck has some very powerful combos going on. He can actually go infinite with any one of their mana producing dorks, and Umbran Mantle, which is a card that you probably honestly I had to read it the first time I saw it because I had never seen that card before.
I don't know that card.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes infinite with a Sirda in play, which is
This
pretty
is a
cool.
great hand for
Yeah,
Garrett.
this hand is excellent. We don't know what. I mean, I guess that Saint just told us what he's going to be playing, so this is probably not the best card. I mean, it's a fine hand against John. I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy into the company.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see a push on the bird maybe here. Inquisition.
This is on the company.
Yeah, this is gonna take the Heliod for sure. Like John has literally no ways, especially without Liliana. There's no ways to get rid of that Heliod. So it doesn't surprise me that let's say Doom just went ahead and just got rid of the Heliod. I would imagine that just Garrett is gonna play all of his hand here. I don't think there's really that much else to do. That's what Recruiter actually is great in this kind of matchup, and it also combos very nicely with Sirda because it can actually activate the ability for just a single green mana, which is
good.
which is kind of it's just really good. That thought is from Saint Doom is actually super important there.
Never punish Garrett.
All right. I guess good. Thanks for playing, Saint Doom. Yeah, Collected Company here is going to be incredible. It's almost a 2-for-1. That's actually interesting that he chose to not. He chose to not play the spell main phase because this means that now. I mean, Saint Doom is going to have to play 2 spells for the Dust Watch to flip back because right here this is just a 3/3, right? Like no ability, it's kind of a big deal. Like while the card advantage possibilities of the Dust Watch Recruiter from the other side are excellent against John.
I feel like exposing maybe one of your combo pieces in during your main phase is not ideal because Sendum could interact with them. Where doing end phase, you force them to tap out, and then you just go for company, and also you play around this card too because you can do it instant speed.
Yeah, for sure. That was kind of a whiff of the Galactic Company, though. Fortunately, the Ranger Captain of Eos is a 2-for-1 in and of itself anyway. So it's still fine, and we see the Ballista for 3. I guess that I stand corrected, because look at that extra counter, the Ballista, thanks to the wolf. I can never... Crawling World? It's a super complicated name. I don't even know how to pronounce that. The flipped Dust Watch. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, I have no idea the name of the backside.
Yeah, that Ballista for 3, just getting rid of the Bob, it's too much to come back from. That was such a great display from Garrett. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I heard from John players or just BGX player that the matchup is pretty easy just because they have a lot of removal. But Garrett says that the matchup against like those decks is easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Garrett might be right, with at least from this game.
Yeah, it definitely looked very impressive there. Of course, the top of the deck really delivered, right? Like he just drew a Collected Company, but like there's so many good cards that he has in his deck, right? Like he could have drawn a Spike Feeder or something like that, and that wouldn't have been great. But overall, like his deck has so many impactful cards, right? So it's not like he got that lucky. When most of his cards are amazing. Interesting Cyberlink here. We see the Veils, which come as no surprise. Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Like you definitely want the Scavenging Nooses in this matchup.
Yeah, especially against Lurus, that you need to like kind of nullify it. In case you go to a bit of a late game, like Lurus can like loop like Seal of Fire, and it's gonna be a demise for Garrett. So Scavenging Ooze is really good.
Yeah. Also, keeping Goyfs in check can be a big deal as well. K command, like Ooze is just a great card all around. We see Garrett keeping some number of Menadorks, which is interesting against the Renan 6 deck. Yeah, he seems pretty uncertain about this this whole situation. This doesn't seem like a matchup that's easy to sideboard for.
Yeah, I mean the Menadorks are not that great because it's usually a grinding matchup and they're like pretty bad top decks. But also you don't want to be too slow to have Lurrus assembled with extra mana up. So you want to be a bit fast even though it's a grinding matchup. I feel like with Lurrus. I feel like if Lurrus was not in the picture, maybe more Menadors would get out of the deck.
Interesting. Even in the face of Renan 6 on the draw.
Yeah, I mean it's not great, but
I guess they don't have it. They don't have it every time, right? I guess just hope that just hope that they don't always have it. But yeah, in my experience with creature decks like this one, the most important thing is to hit your land drops, right? Because it's going to your dudes are not very likely to survive. And with that being the case, you want to make sure that you can cast the spells that you draw off the top because you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to be top decking. So hitting your lineup is just extremely important in a matchup like this. And we see Garrett keeping a 7, which is not incredible, but
you double
you
Giver
keep
of
it.
Runes, and
Yeah,
that
exactly.
like stops a lot of the removal, stops Renan 6 too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Being a 1/2 also pretty important against Renan 6. But yeah, I wonder what Saint Doom takes here. Because like he has to have an answer to the givers, right? Otherwise, if Garrett actually figures out a way to put 2 givers in play, that's it. That's just the game. Because the givers just protect each other, and just like Saint Doom will need to at least 2-for-1 themselves for every single creature they want to kill.
Yeah, Saint Doom has Anger of the Gods in the sideboard, so Giver of Runes can protect themselves but cannot protect the rest, or can protect 2 other pieces if they want.
Yeah, that's fair, but I mean, it's still kind of a big
Yeah, it's
deal.
not great.
Yeah, he decides to go for the Scavenging Ooze, which makes sense. I guess it's kind of like mostly up to what the rest of his hand looks like. But unlike something like Mother of Runes in Legacy, you don't need to just main phase push the Giver of Runes. Because the Giver of Runes cannot protect itself. It can protect other creatures, but it cannot protect itself.
Yes.
So there was no need for Saint Doom there for him to push. I just thought that Garrett has Veil in the sideboard, so there's definitely a very important reason for Saint Doom to do that main phase. Well played, Saint Doom.
Don't boost his ego.
Yeah, good job, Saint Doom. Good job. Tight play. Okay, so we see Garrett discarding the Spike Feeder, which is not really surprising. Wow.
The ramp.
This is so aggro.
I think he wants to have Heliod on the board since Saint Doom cannot answer it.
Yeah, he knows how important having access to Heliod and like how much Saint Doom actually will struggle to answer this Heliod. So he is willing to 2-for-1 himself just to guarantee the land drop and make sure that he can actually put the Heliod into play while Saint Doom can't do anything about it.
And now Garrett has access to both combo pieces.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to see Garrett play the Ranger Captain of the US, which is a very, very interesting card, actually. Ranger Captain has done a lot to revitalize these decks, especially in the control matchups, right? Like this kind of decks usually very, very often struggles against Supreme Verdict and like sweepers like that. And being able to like sacrifice the Ranger Captain while gaining a 2-for-1, to sacrifice the Ranger Captain in order to make sure that your opponent cannot sweep you during their turn, it can be such a huge deal.
Also, it's interesting that Garrett didn't go for Ballista as the combo piece with Heliod, probably for the lack of mana. Instead, he went for like just a Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, I think he was trying to basically help get a little bit closer to casting this collected company, because that's his plan, right? Like he's just trying to slowly grind and grind and grind and try to like get those tiny little advantages anytime whenever he's available to. And we see St. Doom missing their land drop. Yeah, this is gonna be brutal. In response to your brutality, we're just gonna effectively counter it by just casting a collecting company. This is just insane. Again, he whiffs though. Like the
It
second
does not-
Heliod is not good. Sorry, you were saying?
It's not a great hit, but it's still like a decent one. It's like it could have been worse, for
It
sure.
could have been worse. It allows Garrett to potentially draw some cards for sure. And let's not forget that he still has access to that Sirda in the companion song, right? Yeah, there he
Yes.
is.
I feel like you might want to go with Shalai to just protect your permanents and you from discard spells.
Yeah, I wonder if he's trying to figure out what he needs to play around, because as you were saying earlier, Anger of the Gods, but actually Shalai is really good against Anger of the Gods.
Yeah, having 3 toughness is really good. 4 toughness is really good. You
Yeah, I
survive
would've-
the Seal of Fire, Anger of the Gods, every
Yeah.
single removal spell, I think.
Yeah, four is definitely a good number. I would have liked an attack there. Like if you know that you're going to be playing the Shalai, just like attack first. Maybe you can get it. You can sneak in a couple of points of damage. Well, that's a good one.
Yep.
He just goes infinite now. That's cool.
Infinite life.
With and Saint Doom needs 2 removal spells because like the Shalai is protecting the Spike Feeder. Sounds pretty good.
And Garrett doesn't even have to go for infinite life.
No, he can just wait. He can just wait, and he can like do this on his upkeep, or Saint Doom's upkeep. He can do it next turn. He can force Saint Doom to make the first move, and then just in response to any removal spell, just like gain infinite life in response. This is just going to be the end of the game. Because I don't think Saint Doom. There's no way that he can beat infinite life. Maybe he can deck Garrett. I don't know how much of a plan that really is.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough to like deck Garrett, and it's gonna be a long game to deck Garrett. And you have to consider, even though you have infinite life, you still have like 3 creatures plus Heliod on the board.
He deals 1 damage to to the Shalai and then just makes himself discard.
And Garrett just decides to go off.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's basically Saint Doom conceding there. Not much that he can do. Anger of the Gods. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you remove 1 combo piece.
Yeah, I guess that they just what happened is that they just said, okay, I'm gonna be an infinite life, and Saint Doom just said something like, okay, I'm just not gonna kill you through damage or something, but they are gonna keep playing. So that's why Garrett just didn't do like a bazillion.
Here, do you put the count? I mean, I guess you can put a counter on Scavenging Ooze if to go for a bolt. But,
but
you need to kill Shalai first.
Exactly, he has Hexproof, so it's fine. Like the synergy, like just Heliod being in play, just like Scavenging Ooze gains life, like Kitchen Finch just gains life. There's so many ways that he just randomly gains life and just like gets free counters everywhere. That was an incredible performance by the green-white deck. That looked very, very impressive, actually.
And the play of pathing your own creature to ramp to be able to cast Heliod under discard has been like probably the winning play for Garrett.
Exactly. We really see like how Garrett understands the matchup, and he knew, okay, like if this Heliod comes into play, I'm gonna have like a massive advantage. So I'm willing to 2-for-1 myself, just so I can guarantee that now that Saint Doom did not have the discard spell on the turn, that I can resolve this Heliod, and then like every single one of my creatures is just gonna be a lot more powerful, while at the same time I'm gonna be threatening an infinite life just combo kill. So
Johnny
it's
really can't beat Heliod. Yeah, unless I'm putting a lot
exactly
of pressure on with a fast Kroxa or a big Goyf, but never saw Goyf, which didn't help. But
Yeah, that's fair. But that looks very good. And Garrett advances to the next round.
And I joined
On the-
Francisco in the elimination bracket. My
Yeah,
only
dude.
deck left is
Come,
Amulet Titan Karn.
join me. It's great over here. It's great over here.
Do you guys have coffee? Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Garrett and I have talked a lot about the kitchen fink style company decks and their matchup against Jund, and I always tease Garrett because whenever he's talking about like his latest company brew, I'm like, oh, how is the matchup in here? He's always like, oh, it's a good matchup. He's never said something has a bad matchup. You know what I mean? It's always a good matchup with the infinite life combo decks. So I tease him about that a little bit, but I do think, as you just saw there, Collected Company can be a pretty good beating against Green Black X. And that deck has so many 2-for-1s. Heliod is just so hard to deal with. Shalai, so hard to deal with. And then you add that Scavenging Ooze and Heliod synergy with everything just really closes the book on my lightning bolts. And I never saw Seal of Fire, but my lightning bolts there.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see like the big difference between when Drake played against Garrett. It was against Garrett, right? Like that Drake beat him with Jund.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So when Drake played against Garrett, we saw a very, very different situation, which is Garrett just had a bunch of cards in hand that he was not able to deploy, right? And here we saw the opposite. Like Garrett was able to cast his spells, and his spells were 2-for-1 here, 2-for-1 there, 2-for-1 there, and without you being able to deploy quick lures in order to keep up with all of these 2-for-1s that Garrett was getting, it's just the snowball effect just happened so quickly that if you had, even if at that point, if you had found the Seal of Fire for the lures, you just wouldn't have had the time to take over, right? Because you had to spend 3 mana for the lures, 1 more mana for the Seal of Fire, 1 more mana for the Seal of Fire, and you're just killing one of Garrett's cards.
Especially since I was missing land drops, and the second game I actually didn't have double black the entire game, so I couldn't even cast Lurrus even if I wanted to.
There you go.
Mana matters.
Mana matters, baby. Mana matters, baby. Garrett had his mana.
Well played, Garrett. You deserve to keep trash talking for a little while,
dude,
I guess.
He pathed himself to hit his land drop.
It was
brilliant.
All right? Yeah.
You have to respect that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You respect the guy who pathed himself to hit the land drops. That guy knows what it's up to, you know?
He knew exactly that the most important thing is, Francisco, you nailed it in the head. Garrett and I played a lot of company decks. Against interactive decks, you need to hit your land drops. And he wasn't hitting his land drops, so he made it happen. Most players would have held on to that path and said, oh, I got to save this for a Dark Confidant or a Tarmogoyf or even a big Kroxa. And Garrett recognized, no, tempo matters. I need to play this Heliod next turn. Or maybe even this Coco if I top deck a land too. That was the play of the game. Play of the match, probably.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was
for
pretty
sure.
Good. So, all right.
The next one we have coming up is also in the losers bracket, Yama Killer against Spider Space. That's the next matchup. And then after that, because Garrett beat me, we're going to have Ghost X Empire against Garrett. I would have been against me, but Garrett won. So we'll...
let's go, Garrett.
Let's go Garrett for now. Yeah, until maybe hopefully I can play Garrett again, maybe in the championship or something here and get my revenge.
There we go.
So we'll see you all in just a minute with Yama Killer against Spider Space.
here we are, Yama Killer against Spider Space. I don't know what decks they have left, but looks like some sort of Jeskai Yorion from Spider Space. And
We
Yama
see it right
Killer
there.
with Lurus, I think is. I played against him yesterday, and the Lurus deck was the Jeskai control deck,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. No, that was Ghost Empire. Never mind.
Oh, that's not the same person. Don't you love this opener right here? Look at this beauty. Just like 3 lands, none of which cast your Arcus Astrolabe. And they say Astrolabe is free to play, basically, right?
It is free to play. I really don't like Astrolabe as a card, especially in Legacy. I think in Modern it's probably more
Yeah.
fine.
Oh
But
wow.
being
So it looks
a
like.
Wasteland,
Sorry.
being a
Sorry.
Wasteland player in Legacy,
Yeah.
Astrolabe is the bane for me.
Yep. Definitely Wasteland does not like Astrolabe. Yeah, this is. I was gonna say like it looks like Yama is actually playing some prowess. He's been actually killing it with Lurus prowess lately. He top 8 a super Q. When was this? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's been doing super well with the deck, and the deck looks very impressive whenever I watch him play. Spider is in a really bad spot here. Super bad spot.
You have the maybe combo on turn 4, but I feel like Yama should respect the combo, maybe attack Sahili if that happens.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure. This is what the prowess deck does, right? Like this is correct. I mean, you can tell me what you think about it, but I think that this deck is by far the best deck in the format. The prowess deck, I mean.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It might have like some problems against like a John style deck, just because there are not too many creatures in the prowess deck, so it's easier to take care of. But if you don't have the right spell at the right time, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen just prowess just outgrind John, thanks to the what's the name of this guy? Lurus. Yes, that guy.
Yeah,
The one that everybody hates.
Lurus changed the game for prowess for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely new change of dynamic. Yeah, so that is the most insane thing. That is the most insane thing about the prowess deck. Like the lava dart, with 2 prowess creatures in play, 1 mana, 6 damage. How is that a fair rate?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I might have to try it out, this deck.
It every time I see this deck, it just looks insane. It's just so powerful. We see the Timeless coming in. We see the Angers coming in. Blood Moon is an interesting one. I guess that he wants to. Yeah, it's
no basics, no basic planes.
Yeah, that's what he's looking right. He's looking exactly at that right now. That seems like a little bit of a like if you have to top deck like a way to answer. Yeah, exactly. If you have to draw like an answer to whatever your opponent is doing and you draw a Blood Moon, you're gonna be very sad. Looking them out of custom Lurus is cute, but
yeah, I feel like Blood Moon would be more useful against like a burn deck because they have more white spells than what Yama has. Besides, his only main deck white spell is Lurus, and also he's playing Manamorphose, that I don't think they're gonna get cut. Maybe shaved, but not cut completely, so they can cast Manamorphose and cast Lurus without any problem.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Spider. I thought it was interesting that he considered it, but Anger and Timely are definitely a slam dunk. I do think that Timely is not what you want to be doing, kind of, against this deck. Like unlike Burn. Burn very often just attempts to kill you with their spells, right? That's just not the thing with Prowess. Prowess kills you with their creatures. So Timely will buy you a little bit of time, but you will lose. So if you're just relying on Timely to get you there, it's just not going to be enough. So I do think that Anger is definitely the plan that we want to be taking.
Yeah, but Spider Space is a combo deck, as a combo finish. So with Timely you can buy to turn 1 the 6 life you gain, and the 3 charm blockers, if they don't have cast through, you can gain like 1 or more or 2 more turns, and maybe it's enough to get you the combo kill with Sahili and Felidar Guardian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think it's good, but I just don't think that it's GG's, you know.
Yeah.
Right, we see bottoming the land, the basic. So I'm certainly hoping that he doesn't draw another Astrolabe, right? We're going to see the same.
Depends what he fetch with Scalding turn. Does he go for like a Sacred Foundry to have like 2 of each color available?
Yeah, I would imagine either Sacred Foundry or Steam Vents. Yeah, those were the things that I was thinking of. He definitely wants a double red, and this is how the Prowess deck loses. You see that Yama didn't play a creature on one, and he just cycled a Crush through. This is how you beat the Prowess deck. Is like they stumble like this, and they are just using their spells to cantrip instead of using their spells to deal damage. So this is we're seeing it. We're going to see probably a different game. This one is going to be a lot grindier. Not having the turn one creature is definitely a huge deal here.
Yeah, also, the Lava Spike to the face is kind of sign of weakness from Yama Killer's hand.
Unless I was going to say, unless this is what's coming up. unless Yama is planning to play a one-mana divination, which is exactly what he was planning on doing apparently. I wouldn't be surprised if Spider just plays a Pyromancer here.
But what do you pitch if you play Pyromancer?
That's a good question. I think we pitch the path and
the land.
Maybe the land. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Because like we want this Pyromancer. Oh, he pitches the anger.
I mean, I feel like Yama doesn't have any creatures right now, so
yeah.
Oh, he keeps the anger. He just has to pitch the land and path in the end.
Yeah, I think I agree with this. The path gives Yama a land. He's going to be hitting his land drops anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But like the anger just helps you catch up. Like you can safely just use this Season Pyromancer and the token as chump blocker, so you're probably not going to be taking that much damage right now. And then you can use the anger to kind of like sweep everything. And even you can even use it to catch back up with Lurrus. And Lightning Bolt is almost a better path to exile in this matchup, unlike the red-black prowess lists that we have seen lately, which have cards like Unearth and Call Against Command. The red-white only have the one-shot Lurrus, right? You play the Lurrus, and if your opponent kills the Lurrus, that's it. No more Lurrus. It's gone. So Lightning Bolt is basically the same answer for in terms of killing Lurrus as path to exile, except it doesn't give his opponent a land.
Let's see if we can find a combo piece. It's gonna be harder with 80 card deck.
Yep, for sure. But Saheeli is gonna start scrying. Is gonna start dealing some damage. Wow, you see the bolt on the Saheeli end step. Yeah, this is the great thing about this Prowess deck and why it is so good. Look at all the spells that Yama has cast so far, and he still has 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, and also you don't need to bolt your opponent face and do damage because your creatures, as you said before, are the main source of damage. Mm-hmm. So you can use your burn spells to control the board and win with the creatures.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to see the Seal of Fire here coming down. That's probably going to answer the Saheeli, meaning that we're not going to die this turn. And we see the Lurrus getting back the bubble. This is, I guess, a good thing overall. Definitely just being able to get rid of the Lurrus for good right now is great for Spider. So now we have already gone through the Lurrus phase of the game, basically, right? So now just now Spider needs to beat Yama's, I guess, 5 cards in hand right now.
Yeah, and I assume there are not many creatures in there, just because of the removal spells going, burn spells going to the face before casting anything else. So maybe Yama's digging for creatures.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And we see him using the light up the stage, Blister Coil Weird. Wow.
That's the old Prowess.
Wow, the OG Prowess guy. All right, that's cool. Let's not forget about the Season Pyromancer in Spider's figure. This is really good for him. So we see that we keep the lab on top. We're setting up our companion over here.
Yeah, right? Maybe next turn you get to draw 2 cards with the Scry 2. And Snapcaster is great too.
Snapcaster is pretty great there. So we're just gonna. I love this. I love the main phase. Get rid of your dude. Like your lures is gone. We don't care about the creatures anymore. And let's get rid of your Blizzard Go Wheel right now before you can grow it out of size of this Lightning Helix. Also getting 3 lives in the process, which can be a big deal.
Yeah, I feel like Spider Space right now is in a really commanding position.
Yeah, this is looking great. Like even we see Yama cycling the canopy land. This is looking great for Spider. I love his spot right now. We see the line. Is it time to Yorion?
I feel like you just Snapcaster Helix main phase, so they need to have 2 spells to use to save Soskar Mage and its damage that it's not coming to you.
Yeah, I mean, what I was thinking that maybe Spider is thinking here is maybe his plan is to Snapcaster Path. Like at this point, giving Yama the land just doesn't matter whatsoever, right? So by using the path, we actually guarantee that basically the Soska's Mage cannot grow. If we were going to do this, then I definitely love doing it main phase like you suggested.
Because Lava Dart is double prowess.
Yeah, Lava Dart is just terrible news for Spider. He just got and he knows it. You see, he doesn't even go for the Helix. He might Helix in the end step, but like now we didn't answer the creature, right? Like we don't have an empty board anymore. I think he kind of got himself there. I think it would have been. Well, actually, my favorite play would have been just to path the Soulstress Mage, right? Like as long as Yama doesn't have a creature, he can't really win. So we definitely want to get rid of the creature, and then we can just play the Yorion on an empty board. We can draw a couple of cards, and then kind of take over from there.
And what do you think about actually going for Helix to the face, since Yama would have been down at 8, and it's just 2 attack from Yorion instead? Kind of like switch the aggressor and defender.
Yeah, that might have been pretty great actually. I think that would have been nice. I think what Spider was thinking is he was trying to make sure that that there's no free prowess trigger in Yama's graveyard, which makes sense because like if you target the Soulscar Mage, you're basically forcing Yama to use the lava dart right then and there, which is not a good deal for him. Here. Oh yeah, you just take this block again. Like he doesn't need the Yorion to win, right? Like the Yorion is just an easy way to win here, but yeah, this is actually I think great for Spider, especially it being lava dart. As we talked about earlier, Lava Dart is just so good with multiple flowers creatures, and being able to do this it just feels great. Like there's one less Lava Dart available to Yama, and one less land. Well, while we're at it, yeah, the fairy is okay. I guess that maybe Yama's hand is just a bunch of nothing. So he just like got tired.
Yeah, felt like it was a bunch of nothing for a while.
Yeah, it felt like a bunch of nonsense with him like cycling lands and whatnot. Maybe he was flooded or something. I think we do submit the same here. I don't love the Gnar set at all, honestly.
No, I mean, Remand I feel like it could be okay. It's usually not great against a prowess deck, but you have some spells that are pretty good to Remand, like a Metamorphose or a Spectacle light up the stage.
Yeah, light up the stage is okay. I do really hate the Remands in the matchup though.
Yeah.
Not a fan at all.
But Narset is not great either. But
yeah.
I mean, you can use her like 4 times if you have a Feridar Guardian, and you can find the other piece of the combo. There's a lot of disruption, but not much else.
Yeah. We have a lot of the double path is kind of brutal because like we're gonna be ramping Yama super hard, but this like triple removal spell hand is potentially pretty great for Spider here. He main phase fetches. I love the main phase bolt, but he actually does so off of a wow. That's brutal. That's what I was gonna say. Like now he cannot double spell unless he he finds another. Yeah, that was rough. Like actually playing the. So he's guaranteed to take some damage from one of the Swiss spears.
Yeah, it's gonna be lots of damage with Metamorphose, I assume.
Yeah, this is rough. Not being able to allow a spell here is a big deal. One thing that you always want to watch out and you want to think about when you are in a situation like this is whether you want to fetch main phase, because the fetching actually gives your opponent the spectacle trigger. So if you're going to do something like this, you don't want to allow your opponent to cast the spectacle card. So you want to make sure that you think that through before you actually pass to your opponent's turn and then fetch on their turn. I've been got by that myself.
I've got my opponent like that before. Felt great.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You feel pretty silly when you do that one. And this is like the worst case scenario right here. We drew another land. Now we're going to be playing a Fielded Guardian that does absolutely nothing. No value to be gained. Yama has 3 cards in hand. We kind of need to kill this Monster Switzer, but we also kind of need to hold on to this Path to Exile for the Lurus. And yeah, Spider is just like, I just need to get lucky here.
And doesn't look like his day.
Nope. Yeah, this is just devastating. I imagine he's gonna blink like his own land or something to represent a removal spell that he doesn't have. Yeah, he's gonna represent Lightning Bolt, I guess. The thing is that you've been main facing the Lightning Bolt every single time, so I think that I guess you'd rather represent Path here. Yeah, exactly. I think it's the better thing to represent. With a Lava Dart in the graveyard, I don't think that Spider can win this game. Like, let me make that clear.
With a bolt, I think it's actually lethal.
Yeah. We're just down here. We're just down here.
1 point short.
Yeah.
No, there's two Lava Darts in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's just brutal. I mean, it's the best deck in the format for a reason, right? Like this is what we just saw right there is not a rare occurrence, right? This is just what the deck does, and it does it consistently, and it does it all the time, and it's just good. Just very, very good.
That was fast.
Yeah, that's how that deck rolls. That's how that deck rolls, and that's why people are starting to not be so comfortable with the presence of Lurus in the format. But we'll see how it goes.
Formats I feel like are usually healthy when the dominant deck of the format. I'm not saying Modern's healthy. I'm just saying I feel when an aggro deck is a dominant deck in a format, it's usually a decent sign because that deck, it was very, very good right there, certainly, but it's a little bit easier to interact with than, say, if like Storm was a dominant deck or if Dredge was a dominant deck of a format. You don't need to warp your decks as much to deal with mono red. You just need to run efficient removal spells, which generally people think running efficient removal spells is a healthy deck, like a Jund. People love Jund formats, and this might be one.
Yeah, the only problem that I have with that is that just efficient removal spells don't cut it against this deck. Because you just need all of them. Because you can. The problem is that this deck forces you to kill. We saw it that game, right?
3 removal spells.
Exactly. Yeah. If at any point Spider does not kill either of the Swiss Spears or the Soulscar Mages, he just dies.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to be killing each one of those. If more of them come, you also need to kill them, and then you also need to kill the Lurus, which is going to bring one of those dudes that you killed earlier back. So
Monastery, that is Swift Spears, and new Death Shadow. Yep.
Exactly. So like, how many removal spells would have Spider needed to win that game? Like 6. That's a lot of removal spells.
5, and then he needs 1 for Lurus.
Exactly, right? but then you need to kill to bring back the other creature.
So 7.
So you need. That's a lot of removal spells. That's not easy to do.
7 lightning bolts, top deck of mountain. You're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and the more the time goes by, which is like the logical thing to happen, right? The more that time goes by, people figure more and more ways to make the broken deck even more broken. So now we see the black splash that has been very, very popular lately, and that is because they have access to calling as command,
So good.
and which is just devastating, right? Like it is a 3-mana card, so now you're not so much of an aggro deck anymore, but you can grind. Like I've seen the red black deck just out grinding Junt easily, just because they just put so much pressure on your life total, which Junt cannot really do. They put a lot of pressure on your life total, and when you are under so much pressure, you're always playing catch up, and when you're playing catch up, that's when they call against command you.
Yeah, the red black deck looked really, really sweet.
Yeah, this past weekend in the Lotus Box 1K event, the red black deck looked very, very impressive. Every single time it was on camera, it was completely absurd, and it just you win on turn 4 sometimes, and then you also win on turn 12 against the grindy decks. It's just insane. You have discard spells against the control decks, and the combo decks. So even something like Amulet it's not like that good of that good of matchup for something like Amulet, because they have the discard spell and they have the call against command for your amulets too. So like the way that and they have a fast clock. So we see ourselves in a similar situation where they can prevent you from doing your thing while they're pressuring you at the same time.
Which is a very important thing in any format. I think for it to be a top tier deck, you have to be able to present a clock. We never got to see Spider Space kind of combo off there, but I feel like that last game, if Spider Space had gone turn 3 Saheeli into turn 4, right? I think he would have just won that game because that was a turn 4 kill, right?
The Saheeli would have died to the Swift Spears.
That's true.
I mean, that's the problem, right? That's the problem when you're trying to do something like that. If Spider had access to Splinter Twin at the Silver Exarch, it would have maybe been a different story, right? Because you just play the Exarch end step and then you combo on your turn.
Right.
That's why Twin is banned and Saheeli Felidar Guardian is legal, right? It's a very different thing. Like Bolt doesn't break up the Exarch Twin combo, so but.
Bolt plus Lavadar does.
Bolt plus Lavadar does. That's true. But yeah, I mean, it's the best deck in the format for a reason. Like that. That's just how I think about it. Is it a fine deck to have as the best deck? Maybe not. I don't know. I've been enjoying it myself. So.
It reminds me of like a Burn/Death Shadow hybrid, but it's not running any of the blue. Like Death Shadow cards, there's no Stubborn Denial. There's less interaction on that element, but there's a lot of interaction in that red-black variant, with they still have the discard. So this mono red prowess deck is very fast. We're seeing hybrids of it with this red-black variant, which is a little bit slower, but a little bit better against decks that can race it. So it's interesting to see how it'll develop.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think that the key is going to be to try to figure out where to attack the deck, right? As I said earlier, I think that something like timely reinforcement is not going to get you there. Like it's going to buy you a little bit of time, but it's not going to win the game. I think I told this story the last time that I was here commentating, but like I played against the red black prowess deck and I resolved the Thragtusk, I resolved the Handmaster, and I resolved 2 Lightning Helixes, and I still died on turn 6 with my opponent having like 5 cards in hand, right? So that's not how you beat this deck. This is not Burn. You beat Burn with timely reinforcements because they just run out of cards. This deck is not going to run out of cards because the creatures are the ones that kill.
Yep.
Exactly. That's why, because the creatures just keep coming back. Lurrus just with Mishra's Bubble just keeps coming back, and the exactly, and Seal of Fire as well. So Lurrus can even bring back burn spells at this point. So
with 2 prowess creatures in play, that Seal of Fire represents 4 damage, kind of like the Lava Dart representing 6 damage for 1 mana. A little bit less. Not efficient, but it's recurable with the Lurrus, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, so. Yeah. The fact that Lurrus doesn't exile the cards after you cast them, it's kind of egregious, honestly.
Yeah, I think you need to play 4 core firewalkers in every deck if you can to beat this to maybe beat this deck.
And they'll just crash
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, and they just, well, they don't really run Crush through anymore because they've just been running Fatal Push. But I did see, which was pretty cute, like when Yamato played in that event, I think that he actually played a mirror and his opponent had Pirate Spellbomb for the core Fireworkers, which I
Nice.
thought was just like, damn.
That's cheese. That's good cheese. I like it.
That's 200 IQ right there. That's the next level of play. Just like thinking about the mirror. Okay, how do I lose the mirror with core Fireworker? Well, just Pirate Spellbomb. Easy. Easy.
Our next matchup coming up is Ghost X Empire against Garrett Martin, because he moved on after beating me. I actually just saw it in the elimination bracket. Francisco, we play next. Because
We'll
I
play
lost.
next?
So we'll be
All
playing
right.
next week, or when are we playing? I'll figure out when we're playing. We're playing
All right.
tomorrow. So
Play tomorrow?
that'll be fun.
All right, sweet.
We lead off tomorrow night. So that'll be fun. So but Garrett and Ghost Empire.
Getting warmed up here.
All
right, let's
playing
go.
in just a moment, and we'll follow that up because Yamakiller moved on by beating Spider Space. Aspiring Spike against Yamakiller is how we're going to close out our evening here. We got 2 more matchups. We're at the halfway point. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
Here we are, Garrett against Ghost Empire, and we have.
All
what
right.
Looks like a Nif Mizzet deck.
Giganta, baby. Giganta.
The card that I played in Humans and cast maybe once in like 20 matches.
Yeah, that one. That's the one. This hand looks amazing from Ghost Empire. We have the turn 1 Astrolabe.
Into
turn
Ren and
2
6.
Into Ren on 2. We don't have a fetch. That's the only thing that we're kind of missing here. But this Slot Ceases could be pretty good too.
Also, knowing Garrett, he plays a lot of like creatures decks, so you're gonna hit his Birds of Paradise or Noble Hierarchs. Or...
Exactly. Ghost Empire knows it. He knows it. He knows that the Ren is going to be a blowout. Love to see it. Love to see it.
This is why Astrolabe should be banned, because you've got planes into Astrolabe and then you cast a red-green card. There's no sense.
Yeah, it's pretty. It can be pretty silly. I think it's fine in modern. I think that you can't really abuse it that much. I think in legacy it's a lot more ridiculous, but I think in modern it's a perfectly fine card. I think that we have worse problems in modern that before we try to think about banning Astrolabe. What's he doing there? Key one. Is he thinking of E or something? I don't even know what that is. Anyway, we see the good old turn one Astrolabe. Excellent. Perfect start. Oh
With
yeah.
Flashland.
GG's, baby. GG's. Yeah, this is looking incredible for Ghost Empire now.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
Infect? Or Affinity?
Infect.
I feel like he registered Infect.
Yep, I think he registered Infect. Well, you tell me, is Renan 6 good against Infect? What do you think?
Besides the land, yes. Other 12 creatures in the deck is actually pretty good against them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think that we definitely want to Thoughtseize here. We can't die, which is important. Like, we definitely cannot die from here, so that's great.
Not this turn.
No, because because like Garrett's gonna need at least 1 mana to activate the Inkmoth in order to attack. So
yes,
there you
then.
go. There we go. So we're gonna get the Blighted Engine. There we go. Easy.
He lets Garrett with pump spells.
Yeah, but that's so tough that's like such a hard way to go about it. Like by taking care of the Blighted Agent, like he has bought so much time. He's gonna have time to set up the Renan 6. He's gonna have time to probably go all the way up to Niv. Basically, he's never gonna be missing a land drop.
Yes.
And yeah, taking what the Might of Old Crossa. Like this member doesn't do anything, so we don't care about that one. That's cool. So, yeah, so he just takes the Might. Which makes sense since it's the spell that deals the most damage.
Or you could take the free spell.
Yeah.
Just you could save like a Blighted Agent next turn.
Yeah, maybe the free spell is interesting. With Garrett missing land drops, though, I think I actually do like taking care of the Might of Old Crossa, because that means that there's no way that you lose for at least 2 or 3 more turns, which gives you time for Niv, and once Niv comes down, Niv can just trade for the Inkmoth, or you can just draw an Assassin's Trophy and just end the game on the spot. That's also fine.
Do you main phase like Assassin's Trophy right now?
I would main phase it, yeah.
Because if they draw land and a protection spell.
Yeah, they would have needed to draw the protection spell on that turn and it land right now. But like, what are you really gaining by letting your opponent untap there, right? Okay. So what does the Glistening Elf mean? I guess we kill the elf end step?
Or you kill the land. Because the elf you can answer with Renan 6 if you don't kill the land because it's gonna get a forest.
Yes, but he's gonna have the mutagenic growth, right? So he just untaps. Interesting.
Yeah, I like this play.
Interesting.
And it lets it happen too.
And Garrett lets it happen. That is interesting. That's some next level stuff right there.
I think now you go with Niv, because you die also only to like Distortion Strike, I think it's called, or Slither Space. But
yeah.
They need a land and much more.
Yeah, and you already have the Assassin's Trophy to just the casual 5 mana 6/6 draw 5. Don't worry about it.
I never drew that many cards with Niv Mizzet.
Don't worry about it. We're fine. Discarding all the lands. He can just get them back with Ren. This game is over, folks. This game is over.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. Look at Ghost Empire, the evil laugh.
He knows it too. So he can attack, like, dismember the Niv? I don't know what Gary's doing here.
Dismember plus pump spell?
That's a hard way to do it. I mean, he knows about the Assassin's Trophy, right? So, like, he knows that...
He knows about one of them, yeah.
Yeah, this game is just over. We even have Udo to, like, develop our mana and to set up a clock for next turn. Not that we really need to end this game very particularly quickly.
It's already over.
It is, exactly. I just don't think Even if Garrett stacked his deck, I don't think that he can win from here.
So
I
how
think
would you
that we're-
stack the deck?
Huh?
Hoping it doesn't cast Assassin's Trophy. You just
Yeah.
put like Blossoming Defense into Blossoming Defense.
Yeah, we basically just have to hope that Ghost Empire just declines to cast spells for the rest of the game. He's just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not going to cast anything else. Yeah.
So I'm actually surprised that Ghost Empire won. I feel like the Infect can easily go under this, underneath me the deck.
Yeah, I think that definitely like the fact that we had the early Thoughtseize. First of all, being on the blade was a huge deal. Being on the blade was a huge deal because it allowed Ghost Empire to basically develop his mana, make sure that everything's fine, and just like Thoughtseize and basically try to set up that Renan 6. And second of all, like Garrett's hand, I don't know if there was a mulligan involved in there, but like leading on turn 1 Inkmoth is not where you want to be.
So he's cutting a removal spell. That's interesting. It was deciding on the last cut and was really interesting to see what do you want to cut as the last card. And it's thinking
Yeah.
about the Anguish I'm making.
Which honestly makes sense to me, right? Is by far your most expensive spell. I'm not a big fan of the Kaya's Gal. Honestly, like 1/1s are really, really good against Infect, so maybe that's why he is actually thinking that Kaya's Gal might be better than the Anguish in making. So that makes sense. Making your opponent sacrifice a creature, make it 1/1, then your opponent needs to use a pump spell in order to trade with your 1/1 or to attack through your 1/1. This can be kind of a big deal. I remember back in the day when I used to play when Lingering Souls was a playable card. Lingering Souls was definitely incredible against Infect and Affinity for that matter when Affinity was a playable deck.
Yes, that's when I was playing it, and like whenever I faced like Lingering Soul was like a pain. It was not unbeatable, but was really. It took some time to get through with Lingering Souls.
Yep, it really makes things a lot tougher.
I miss Affinity.
Yeah, I do miss Affinity too. I think Affinity was such a cool deck. Out of all the Mox Opal decks, it was like the only fair deck. Yeah. The only not absurd deck. And it was just such a cool deck and so hard to master and stuff. Anyway, we are met with a kind of like a slow, I don't want to say clunky, but I'm gonna say clunky.
Yeah, it's pretty clunky. It's like you don't have anything besides Chaos Guile. Because like the live game from Ura doesn't really matter. Guess the ramp is fine, but it's like it's not what you want to do in turn 3. You're probably gonna be dead in lots of scenarios from Garrett's deck.
Yep. All right. There we go.
And Missed Land Drop.
Missed Land Drop is a big deal. Missed Land Drop and no Infect creature. Those are two things that Ghost Empire is probably loving to see right now. How do we navigate? Because now with Noble Hierarch and Spells Guide, now our life total kind of matters a little bit more.
Oh, look at there.
Well, never mind.
Infect creature and land. That was a really good draw.
That was a really good turn from Garrett right there. That Inkmoth off the top. However, we see Teferi. Teferi is big game against the Infect.
Yes,
forcing them to do stuff main phase is a huge deal.
Yeah, but the problem is like, can you afford to tap out to play Teferi next turn when Garrett is probably gonna redirect the trophy to Spellskite? So you're gonna have access to like 1 land to activate plus 2 lands for pump spell or 3 lands.
Wait, what happened there?
He didn't redirect with Spellskite. He just Assassin's Trophy killed the Blighted Agent.
But I thought that he paid life. Didn't his life total go down?
Not sure.
He fetched and shocked, and he's now at 15 though.
Sure. Yeah.
That's weird. So I guess that you just misclicked?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's very strange. All right. Moving on.
So if you play Teferi here, you might risk to die.
Yeah, I think that the safe line here is probably to just cast the Kaya's Guile, make Garrett sacrifice, and make it 1/1. Okay, we're going for Tef. Oof. Big oof. All right, that Spell Pierce was a big game right there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now we might see Garrett just win the game right now. And this is what I was saying with Ghost Empire's hand being a little bit clunky. So any 2 plus 4 spells are just lethal.
7 infect damage.
7 plus...
Just 7.
No, just 7. All right. Garrett got in an attack. That's pretty cool. Glycerin Elf doesn't... I guess that we don't have a creature in play, so I guess it does do something. Yeah, we are short of mana, so we can bring to light just right now for the Clarion. Not that the Clarion will be doing much against the Synchronous Nexus. This is, we're really seeing why the Infect deck can be good at this kind of matchup. We see just Ghost Empire with every single answer, but just not enough time to deploy them.
Yes. And usually an attack with scale up that's not lethal signifies that there is another scale up in hand. At least that's what I learned playing against Infect, that if they go with only one scale up, not lethal, they have another one in hand.
That's a pretty good rule of thumb. All right, main phase Kaya guy. We learned and we're not messing around because of Spell Pierce anymore. That's cool. What is Garrett going to sack here?
That's interesting.
The Noble Hierarch.
I guess it makes sense. A pump spell for whatever it doesn't block.
Yeah, exactly. So we just stack with both creatures, whichever one that does not get blocked.
Yep.
We just pump that one, and that's just lethal. All right, easy game, easy life. There we go. Moving on to game 3.
Yeah, we saw, in fact, going through some disruption was not enough, but also Marcus' deck was pretty slow out of the gate.
Yeah, definitely we can see that with this kind of deck. Like, we are building our deck with 2 mana spells because we want to get value from Nib Mizzet, right? But in doing that, and by not including cards like Fatal Push, by Lightning Bolt, a Path to Exile, we are running into this kind of situation, right? We're running into this kind of situation where we just don't have the time to play all of our more powerful but clunkier spells. And in fact, is a deck that can really take advantage of those kind of situations.
Yeah, because they usually have some protection spells, and investing 2 mana and then having to pay another 2 mana. It's a lot.
It is a lot, especially when Garrett was just playing 1 mana for this, 1 mana for this. Even his counter spell was Spell Pierce, 1 mana to counter your 3 mana Teferi. Right? It's a big deal. That's how Infect gets under this kind of decks, which is what you were saying earlier today, right?
Yeah. This hand, you have Ren and 6 is tempting and Nib Mizzet, but
yeah, it immediately ships it.
This is not much better, but
Astrolabe
cycles.
It's not a lot better, but we can get lucky with this hand. And we do have an interactive spell that can kill a turn 1 Glycerin Elf, which is cool. So we just want to make sure that we survive. It's pretty sad that the life gain aspect of the Sliding Helix is going to be irrelevant. So,
you never know. It might be that 1% of games that Infect wins with regular damage.
Yeah, I've honestly seen a little bit too many Tom Ross videos of SEG and stuff where he just beats down with Noble Hierarch to say that.
I lost to Noble Hierarch in Legacy against Aaron Barrage. It was not fun.
Yep.
It's life doesn't matter. Let's just fetch shock, and I was playing that Shadow at the time, and it's I don't have removal spell. Noble Hierarch attack. It's I guess I'm not gonna block and then they just pump spell berserk. It's like, okay, let's game.
That's fun. All right, we kept this one. Garrett moves to 6. Okay.
That's
So-
also what land. You have Astrolabe, so it doesn't matter too much, but it might actually matter the time you have to like double spell.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is actually that's probably one of the toughest things to do with the Nimbus deck. Just like your sequencing and how you fetch your lands, and all the stuff can be very, very relevant. This is okay. That I was gonna say this is a very interesting spot right there because like, do you helix the noble hierarch just main phase right now to deny your opponent mana, and we might see that.
I would.
Yeah, we're gonna see it. I love it. I think this is actually something that people don't do enough. Like killing the mana producer. Like by getting ahead of mana is how Infect actually gets to play around all the stuff that you're going to all the removal that you want to play against it. And we see him getting paid off handsomely right here.
And it's also a pump spell. It's like a mini pump spell every turn, the Noble Hierarch.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot like forget that.
Yeah,
and it's usually actually how Infect wins a lot of the games is by having the Noble Hierarch and attacking by like chunks of 2 every turn instead of 1, and forcing your opponent to react because the 10-turn clock is slow, but the 5-turn clock threatening pump spells whenever you try to go kill something is actually what makes Infect win.
Yeah, and we see something even right now, which is the 1/1, right? With a Noble Hierarch in play, I mean, Garrett has the Blighted Agent anyway, but if the 8-month Nexus were to attack with a Noble Hierarch in play, then the Spirit is actually going to be chump blocking, right? Whereas with the Noble Hierarch down, now the Spirit actually trades with a pump spell from Garrett.
Yeah, Noble Hierarch is secretly the best pump spell in Impact.
It really is. It really is. Wow. Playing
All
the
the
Triumph
lands.
and getting completely punished by it. All right, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see the companion.
The one that you rarely see cast.
Oh yeah, we have a 5/5 now. Damn, this is great.
And Dryad Arbor to go to protection against Kaya's Guile. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I imagine that's what Garrett was thinking there.
Even though Liliana kind of got out of the format, so like Dryad Arbor is not that relevant as it used to be.
Yeah.
But in this matchup is actually really relevant.
Yep, 100% agree. Okay, what are we gonna do here now?
Attack.
We kind of have to play into Infect's pump spells. We're gonna see how Ghost Empire wants to work this here. It is not rare at all to want to know how to find draw there for Garrett. It's not strange to want to actually attack like Helix with Lightning Bolt or something your opponent's creature on their end step, right? Because now we might see this where if Garrett has a plus Binds of Azure or like a Blossom in defense, Ghost Empire is going to be taking 4 damage instead of just taking 2, right? So you're basically taking some extra damage that maybe you don't want to be taking, especially because right there he would have got by a lot more other a lot of other cards. I guess
looks like Garrett doesn't have any protection spells. So
yeah, Garrett just seems to be empty. Now we have no Infect creature in play.
Noble Hierarch attack when Marcus is 18.
Yeah, this Teferi basically means game over.
Yep.
Teferi is just incredibly good against Infect. It basically means that they can't protect their creatures. They had drawn the Veil. That's brutal.
That doesn't stop Lightning Helix.
Nope. Veil doesn't stop Lightning Helix. Oh, that's right. He can't bounce the thing. Okay, so we're going to plus in response, but like, there's nothing that we can do here. Right? Like, Garrett is just... he's just gonna run face first into this Assassin's Trophy, and there's nothing he can do about it because like he needs to get rid of the Teferi too. So we might see him play a pump spell here or whatever. All right, so he just doesn't. He doesn't attack either. Okay, I guess that he wants to leave the Harrow back to block.
Yeah, I think now it's turn to block. I mean, 2 helixes are already gone, so the chance of Ghost Empire to have another helix are pretty low.
Could have a K command, I guess, but yeah, now this Teferi is just, it just feels so unfair. Ha. Well, we can plus with that one. We're probably gonna see a chump here though.
No?
No chump. Okay, so we're not playing around removal anymore. Around burn anymore.
And
That's
Clarion wins the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. I mean, there's not much that Gary could have done against just drawing the nib for good measure.
You should
All
do
right.
double mode, hopefully.
Yeah, we can give the Giganta lifelink, right?
Yeah,
Whew.
you have to.
Oh my. Oh my.
And Marcus
Look at that value.
proceeds. So happy.
All right, Ghost Empire advances.
Yikes! and
Ghost Empire
Garrett-
advances.
Garrett
Very
loses.
interesting match there, right? Like we saw game number 2, really the Infect deck doing the thing that it does best, right? Like the Infect deck just looked unbeatable right there. On the play, ahead on mana because of the turn 1 hierarch, like spell piercing your stuff while clocking you at the same time. It looked great. And then the other 2 games we saw kind of like a slower out of the gates move, and we saw Ghost Empire being on the play, and it was a completely different game. No protection spells also meant that even the clunkier removal spells got to resolve. Like Ghost Empire didn't get blown out a single time, even when he helixed the Inkmoth Nexus there.
At the wrong
It was fine.
time.
Like he just resolved.
Yeah.
Like we just killed the Inkmoth Nexus, no blowout or anything. So yeah, I mean we see the difference between when the Infect deck just hums and when the Infect deck doesn't hum, but the Nimbus deck is always going to do its thing, right? Like so, it's always going to do what it is, and if it gets there, it gets there, and if it's clunky and it doesn't get there, it's gonna lose, right? But it's going to consistently get there, doing the thing that it does, and we really saw it. We really saw it in action right there, and Gary was not able to punish the Nimbus deck's clunkiness, and we see Marcus advancing to the next round.
And Marcus drew very
And
well
Mike,
there.
you're muted.
I'm muted. I'm not muted.
I just thought that Michael really loved listening to me talk.
Who doesn't?
Oh, you, Andrea. Oh, you.
I need a
Andrea
CD of
earlier
you just
said he could
talking and
use
putting
3
on at night.
Franciscans.
Just go to sleep every night.
Yeah. Assemble all the information in my brain of you explaining me how to play Titan.
Oh yeah, good times. Good times.
Fall asleep to Francisco's YouTube channel.
I
Francisco, how can
cannot hear
people
Michael.
reach you?
Yeah, you
Can't-
have pretty low volume, at
I
least for us.
Maybe it's
fine on
one
the
thing
stream.
that
I think
maybe
it's
we
a
can't
Skype
hear him.
connection here.
It's okay. Yeah,
How's that? Is that
just
better?
talk, Michael.
Am I better now?
That's a little bit better. Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay.
I can hear you fine in chat, it said. So it's probably just Skype not blocking some of your voice from us.
Well,
All right.
Francisco, how can people reach you? How can people who are interested in falling asleep to learning about Amulet Titan find more of you?
Well, you can find me on Twitch. I stream every day lately with all the quarantine thing. I've been streaming literally every single day. Sometimes I take break on Saturdays, but every other day I've been streaming. I stream starting at 11 a.m. PST. So that's Pacific time. That's the West Coast. I live in Los Angeles, so that's the time that I have to deal with. And I also upload all my streams to YouTube, and you can find me on Twitch at Fpawlusz. I have like the worst Twitch handle ever. And then on YouTube and Twitter, both places where you can find me, it's Fpawluszmtg. So you can find me in all of those places. I'm also pretty active on my own Discord as well, the Primetime Stronghold Discord. which you can just like send me a message on Twitter or something, and I can just hook you up with a link. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Perfect. Andrea, where can people find more of you?
I haven't streamed much lately, but I'm gonna get back to streaming tomorrow. My Twitch handle is Kappolo42, Kappolo, number 4 and number 2. My Twitter username, I'm like some days I'm really active, some days I ignore it, but it's Kappolo without the 42, just Kappolo, and or just look for my name Andrea Biaggi in there. And that's about it.
Check out the Modern Streamers League Twitter. We frequently app the players. It's also an easy way to get everyone's link in one place. So definitely check them out and follow players. It's the whole point of this league is to get players more face time. These are the content creators for the game you love, which was created by Wizards of the Coast, and we are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and Card Hoarder, which helps you play Magic more online. I did that all right? That was okay. So anyways, I don't know if they can hear me at the moment. I'm guessing
No,
not.
we can't hear you. Sorry.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're completely muted for us.
I'm just making my first. Oh yeah, whatever St. Doom's saying right now is like the best thing ever.
Francisco,
Yeah,
I'm going
you're
to
right,
wreck
you're
you
right.
tomorrow night.
Listen to him. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Tune in tomorrow, and I will wreck Francisco in the first match. You heard it here first. Francisco agrees. Look at him. He agrees. But we still have one more round of Modern Magic tonight. Ghost. So we just had the Ghost Empire one. We have Aspiring Spike against Yamakiller, who just beat Spider Space. So two very good players will be playing and duking it out in just a moment. So quick break with the brackets, and then we have Francisco and Andrea giving more commentary for Aspiring Spike against Yamakiller. We'll see you in just a minute.
And
Oh
here,
yeah.
the last match of the night. Lurus again. This looks like the Grixis ever deck list. Looks really fun to play.
It does. It does. I don't know if it's any good really against all the prowess decks and whatever. It was definitely very good at the beginning of the format. Like as soon as the format started, it was very good there. But now that people have been tuning their prowess decks, I don't know how good it is to be playing Grixis really. But Spike is great. Spike has been killing it lately, so it wouldn't surprise me if he figures out a way to get a win here. And he's getting paired against Was that a Chancellor? Yeah, that's a Chancellor of the Tangle. Oh,
The
my
Neo
favorite
form.
deck. My favorite deck. My favorite
Aspiring
deck in
Spike looking at
all
the
the
sky.
world. Now, let's all enjoy how Aspiring Spike just crosses his arms and just waits. Because if Yama can whip from here, and he's just looking on the other side. I mean,
Just one
uh,
more.
I feel you, Spike, dude. Oh man, I feel you so much. This actually happened to me on the very last round on the win and in. I don't know if it was top 8 or top 16, but in the win and in of the Super PTQ this past Monday, and yeah, this happened on the very last round, and it felt real bad. It felt real bad. All right, so at
All
this,
over.
yeah, it wasn't great. But yeah, at this point, like it's just deterministic. Like Yama has drawn his entire deck, and Spike lost on turn 1. Isn't that great? And for you folks that say, "Oh yeah, you can play Force of Negation and stuff," like Spike was playing 4 forces. Sometimes you just don't find your forces,
And
man.
it shows them to us.
Yep.
And they're not enough
Yep.
sometimes.
If you don't draw them, it's just like for people that insist on Neo being legal, being an okay thing in the format. I'm done with having that conversation with people. It is brutal. Anyway, moving on to game 2
Hand
because
is great.
game one did not matter whatsoever. Now we have a real game, hopefully. What do you think, Andrea, about this hand?
This hand is great. You have Mishra's bubble that you can maybe set up. Never mind, we don't even care. Like Yama mulligan to Oblivion and concedes. I guess that's how new brands goes.
And people say that this is okay, man. Like, what the hell? Anyway,
I mean, I'm
guess
okay
we're
if
going
my
to game
opponent
3.
concedes every time. It's like, just sit down, my opponent just like mulligan, concedes. Like, I would sign up for that.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not into that. I like to play Magic, you know. This is not Magic. Oh, do you keep this one?
It's not good against a turn 1, but it was decent against a turn 2. I would have kept that hand. It's like, I mean, you need to draw to a Force of Negation, and all of these hands have been worse.
Yeah, all of these hands have been a lot worse than the very first one. I thought the very first one looks pretty good, actually.
I guess you keep this one, hoping they have Neo form instead of Eldritch Evolution.
Yeah, but this is like a lot worse than the very first hand that we saw.
Yeah, but I mean, you cannot go down to 3.
No, the going to 3 is just unacceptable, but especially if you're looking for force, right? So you're looking for something that's going to make you turn 2, and then Yama just like doesn't go for it turn 1, and you know it gets a lot worse for you. Interesting that he chose to bottom his clock, actually.
Yeah, I would have probably just bottomed the charms. Like, it's probably too late, and you need to put pressure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I guess that he's trying to recoup the mulligan, so he's probably gonna be considering just drawing exactly the draw 2 effect from this Archmage's charm.
And Yama actually mulled to 5.
Yeah. So we do see. Yeah, Yama just passes the turn again. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. We take those.
That's probably
the longest.
Game on a mull to 5.
Exactly. The longest at this point, the longer that this game goes, the better and the better that it gets for Spike. So at this point, I have him very, very ahead at this point, even though nobody did anything. Nobody did anything, but I think Spike is super far ahead right now.
I mean, you have like 4 counter spells in hand.
Yep. And we're going to see... Snapcaster actually an amazing draw, right? Because like end step we can snap back the opt, or we can just hold up all of our counter magic.
Yeah, and also it's like the Neobrand is a deck that needs to sacrifice a piece to like for Neobrand or Eldritch Evolution. So a counter spell is a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's not even that because they don't hard cast their dinos, right? They are 3-for-1 in themselves. in order
For
to
the
put the
dino.
dino into play. And then they are just like, yeah, the deck doesn't look at card advantage in the same way that Magic looks at card
It
advantage.
was a 5-for-1.
Exactly. Yeah, so I do love this. I do love this. All right. Yama is not killing me. Let's go full throttle and let's try to figure out, let's try to pressure them. Also, it's really important to actually deal damage to the Neobrand players because they do need their life points in order to get Griselbrand draws. So every multiple of 7, or I guess anytime that we put the Neobrand player below a multiple of 7, that's one less draw with Griselbrand, unless they naturally have a Nourishing Shoal, of course. But this is a big deal. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, with like Mystical Dispute and double Force of Negation up, yeah, it's...
I think that is not going to work out for Yama, but could be wrong.
I mean, they run Pact of Negation too.
They have Pact of Negation, they do have Veil. Dispute is going to be great against this Pact, though. Yeah, we're going to see the Dispute there.
So they need two other pacts.
Yeah, we're gonna see a big fight on the stack here, and there we go.
That's game.
That's it. Yep, and we see again Spike moved to 4, kept a couple of interactive spells, and that was it. And this is kind of like, I actually went on a rant on while the last match of the Super Q was going on. I went on a rant like super hard. I was super tilted, but this is what I hate about this deck. It's not the fact that I'm losing. It's the fact that
it didn't matter. Your decisions didn't matter.
Nothing that I did mattered. I just got there and I got paired against this opponent, and I was basically just stolen of my game. Like, right? It's not like when you get mana screwed or something, right? You could have mulliganed, right? There's something that I could have done, right? I could have mulliganed. I could have been a little bit less greedy, or sometimes you get lucky. It is Magic, right? But this is not even that. This is maybe you mulligan properly, maybe you kept the hands that made sense, and you just died on turn 1. We just saw that happen to Spike, right? Like he played a land and then he died. Mm-hmm. How is that okay?
A spell wasn't cast on Spike's side till game 3. Aspiring Spike, as the chat mentioned, had a 50% win rate in this match so far. He lost game 1, he never played anything. Game 2, he won. He didn't play anything. He had a 50% win rate, and all he did was play a single land. But Neobrand is fine. Neobrand is fine, right?
You're guys such haters.
Andrea, what do you think? Are you a big fan of this combo that doesn't actually allow any magic skill to be involved?
Not really, but I'm not as like hater as you guys. I think it's fine. It's a deck that like loses to itself more than wins. I mean, it's like you have the same deck like in other formats like Legacy, and there's like you have the turn 1 win, but most of the time just like a disruption spell can just like ruin your plans. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just having the fail rate being that high. I don't know what's the exact numbers of fail rate of the deck, but I feel like the fail rate is higher than the success rate of the deck.
Yeah. I mean, my argument is, and that is the argument that I hear everybody say, and I'm like, that's exactly it. I am not talking about this deck, and I'm not complaining about this deck from a power level angle. I have no complaints about the power level of the deck. I do think that it fizzles a lot. I don't think that it fizzles enough, and I think that let me rephrase that. I think it doesn't fizzle enough to not be okay because of the play patterns that it creates, right? It doesn't. The fact that I'm playing a game and I just got paired against this opponent and like nothing that I did mattered because I just died on turn 1. It's not okay. It's just not okay in a format like Modern.
In some cases that happens, then you have to wait 50 minutes before your next round and stew on the fact that you just played an entire round. And just what happened here was we had 2 games happen, and Aspiring Spike didn't even cast a spell. He played a land, and that was all he did. It's just...
Exactly.
That's not... I don't know. Maybe the audience really liked it, but I didn't think that was a particularly fun and engaging match to watch. Unlike Aspiring Spike's match last night, which was interactive and amazing to watch. That's Aspiring Spike versus Drake.
Yeah, I mean, which he often is. Like, I don't know if you don't know who Aspiring Spike is, go follow him, because he actually went full-time streamer this past week or the week before, and he is probably like the best streamer around right now. He's definitely high up there in my list of favorites, and he plays very well. He plays very well, and he brews decks that are awesome. But like, yes, it just takes from the stream, right? Like, you just get paired up. It doesn't matter how awesome Spike is, because he just got paired against Neobrand, and it just didn't matter how awesome he is. At that point, it's mostly a matter of how entertaining can he be while his opponent is comboing off. And this is what happened. What happened on the Super Q. On game 2, my opponent went off for 10 minutes. Like, his clock went down to 10 minutes because they went off for 10 minutes, and then they fizzled and conceded. And all of this point, I'm just sitting there, and I just can't concede because it is a competitive event, right? So I cannot just back it in. I have to wait, and I have to wait for them to show me the kill. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like talking, and then my opponent concedes. It's just like, what the hell? Anyway, but if you wanna watch a good, I think it was a pretty good rant. So you can go to my YouTube channel and you can watch the last round of the Super Q, because I go off, man. I go off. I'm not gonna do that again, but I go off hard. It's pretty fun.
Francisco's YouTube is not as family friendly as the Modern Streamers League.
No.
I'm assuming there's at least one or two vulgarities in that rant.
Yes, I go off. I go off. In fact, one of my viewers, a friend, he says, "Well, my daughter was also watching that stream." Like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's rough. It's rough. Anyway,
I think we can all agree that the last match, despite the fact that I'm sure both are amazing players, Aspiring Spike and Yamakill are both fantastic players, that just wasn't a very engaging match to watch. Andrea, what was your favorite match of the night? And please don't say it was Garrett beating me just because it was Garrett beating me.
It was Garrett beating you, but not only for that reason. But that reason takes play too.
It definitely helps, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Garrett's play of patting his own creature and actually being the game-winning play, that probably like stuck to me, and I feel like, I don't know if it was the best match, but was like the best play of the night, and for that reason I picked the first match, you against Garrett.
How about you, Francisco?
Yeah, I agree with that one. That was definitely like the play that really stuck out the most, because it was like so unconventional, right? But it really showed mastery of the matchup, right? Like Garrett knows what matters, and he was able to capitalize on that because he made the unconventional play and was beautifully rewarded by it. And you love to see that kind of stuff, right? This is like this is why we play Magic, and this is. Decisions mattering, right? Decisions mattering are great. I love when decisions matter. It's so awesome. But it did. Like it really, everything went Garrett from that play on, and it was just beautiful to watch. So I definitely like that match the best. The matchup against Infect was actually very interesting too. It was very cool to see kind of like a textbook matchup, right? Like we see like the mid-range deck versus the combo deck, and we see like how both decks are trying to like one-up each other, and we see the mid-range deck doing its thing, and then we see the Infect deck doing its thing, and how that can overpower the mid-range deck full of removal. And it's just like, well, all of your removal doesn't matter if you can't cast it in time because you're dead. It was really cool to see that kind of plays happening there. Definitely great stuff.
Also, the deck that impressed me maybe during the night was the Red Prowess with Luras.
Mm-hmm.
That deck was like really impressive, how it was able to snowball even through disruption, just win easily.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just demonstrated why it's the best deck in the format right now, right? Like you can splash white, you can splash black, whatever you want, but like that prowess shell with Lurus is just insane. It's just the best thing to be doing in the format, and you need to be ready for it. If you want to play Modern, have a plan, figure out, play the matchup, know what beats the deck, know what doesn't. Um, Again, life gain, not gonna get you there. It's gonna buy you a little bit of time, but it's not gonna get you there. You're just gonna lose to their creatures coming back and then over again. And it is actually in this kind of situation where the real, top Modern players really rise to the top, right? Like when you find the situation, we have a problem. How do we attack this? And we just try different weapons that we have available in the Modern card pool, and we try to use those weapons to fight the menace.
And the menace right now being mono red. It's interesting to me just looking at a snapshot of what the matches that played tonight. We had Garrett advancing or not falling to the elimination bracket by beating me, and Yamakiller the same thing by beating Spider, but they both lost the next matchup to somebody who's slightly higher on the bracket than them. So neither of them 2-0'd the night because Garrett lost to Ghost X Empire and Yamakiller just lost to Aspiring Spike. So just really interesting how there's definitely a power level, or maybe just a better metagame level with how this tournament's structured from Ghost X Empire and Aspiring Spike, beating down the people who beat Spider and myself down a little bit earlier.
Interesting also that both players that we saw play twice, they play different decks both times.
Yes.
I just noticed that. I haven't thought about that. We had the Prowess deck from Yama and then Neoform, and then the Collected Company deck from Garrett and then Infect. So that was actually pretty interesting. So I guess that we had no repeats in today's stream, which is cool.
Pretty sweet.
It's cool.
It's different decks.
Yeah, you can play a lot of archetypes in Modern.
You can see all the deck lists on the website, modernstreamersleague.com. But Francisco, you were saying you play a lot of archetypes in Modern?
Yeah, but you can play a lot of archetypes in Modern, and like how they play and how they interact with each other is like it's what makes the format so great. Like any one of these decks, it wouldn't surprise me to see like a devoted druid deck like win an event. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Prowess deck win an event. It wouldn't surprise me to see something like the Orion deck, Sahili, right? There we go. A deck like that, like a mid-range combo control deck to win an event. It's just like you can do all of these things, and you can kind of, as long as you have a plan for what you expect to face, and like you have an approach to all the different matchups, all of these decks are viable, and that's what makes Modern so great and what keeps it so fresh.
I agree with that. I think decisions mattering in Modern, and not just your inter-game decisions, but also, as we just saw here tonight, what deck you bring when mattering, which is kind of getting to the little bit of the metagaming that you were talking about, and how different decks and different cards and different decisions matter there, which just not Neobrand.
Yeah, no, and that's actually another really important point, which is like this past weekend I actually changed my amulet list for the Super Q a lot because I expected everybody to be playing the Prowess deck, and then I played against the Prowess deck I think 3 times or 4 times, and I beat it. Like I lost once to it and I beat it all the other times. So like having cards and building your deck in such a way that knows how to beat those decks that you're trying to beat can really reward you in the format, which is sweet. It really is sweet.
That's something that I think Modern people who love Modern definitely love about it. It's that you can metagame certain situations and be rewarded for it. Andrea, is that your experience with Modern as well? I know you're not streaming as much as you have been in the past, but
I mean, it's like I would say like a double-sided sword, because you prepare for a meta game, and since Modern, as Francisco said, is really wide. If you prepare for only the popular decks, you can get easily paired. The popular decks are probably like the 20% of the field. You still have a lot of other decks that you can face, and if you prepare only for those decks, and then you're gonna lose to like anybody with like a random deck that you didn't expect. So sometimes
Yep.
it's good to metagame for what you expect, but you should expect everything or have like some like general cards that could answer instead of answering a specific archetype. You want to answer different like different like pies of like groups of archetypes. So you don't want to build like a card that just beats blue white control, but maybe you want to have a card that beats all the control decks and be like maybe flexible and beat some other strategies.
So it's how something like Aether Gust could help you in not only against Amulet Titan and Primetime decks, but also help you in the mono red matchup and also still be useful against Neo Brand. Something like that, how one card, maybe not the best card against mono red, but it's still a card that's flexible enough to be used. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, it's you have the trade-off of efficiency against versatility, especially with such a big card pool. So you kind of need to pick your battles. You might want like few of the narrow efficient cards for one matchups, but you want cards that like answer more than one specific deck or threat.
Yeah, that's cool. There's also an important aspect, which is like, and I say this from the amulet player's perspective, obviously, which is like, know what your card pool is. Know what you have available in your card pool. Not only what you're talking about right there, but also, for example, this week I played Arboreal Gracer in my amulet deck instead of playing Sakura Tribe Scout, which
Because of Lava Dart?
I've said so many times that Scout is so much better than Gracer, yet I do think that in the current metagame, Gracer really outvalues Scout because of multiple reasons. You need to know what your card does, right? Like, so for example, what I mean is Scout is good because it stays in play and gives you value every single turn, and it allows you to do stuff at instant speed. It can be very, very relevant in order to save your lands from land destroying spells or like Field of Ruin or whatever. A bunch of things like that. It can also allow you to do some instant speed tricks with like lands that you get, all that kind of stuff. But what matters right now is, first of all, getting a guaranteed boost in mana, which is what Gracer gives you. Like, you play the Gracer and you put your line into play. That's it. It's a lot less value, but it's guaranteed value. And then you have a 0/3 body in play, which is huge right now.
With Reach.
The 0/3 body with Reach is huge. That is one bolt that is not going to your face against the prowess decks. That is massive. That can buy you a lot of time. That is also like a creature that you can sacrifice to a Liliana minus if somebody is playing like Liliana in their John deck or whatever. That is a chump blocker that can that can gain you like one more turn against a Tarmogoyf.
It doesn't die to Ren in 6. Yep.
It doesn't write to Ren minus. Like, all of those little details, it's like the things that we see in the metagame are, all of these Lurus decks that have all of these tools available to them. Okay, so do we have a tool that actually can get in the way of all this stuff, right? Even Boggles right now, right? They have access to the, I forget, like the kind of like the flying, Griffspoon, thank you. Yeah, the flying enchantment. Gracer can block your Boggle with the enchantment, right? Scout can't. That can buy you a very important turn, and that allows you to explosives your opponent's board away. Like, these are all the tiny little details that, if you know your deck and if you know which options you have access to, your decisions can matter.
And that is the pinnacle, I think, of Modern. Like, the best moment I think we've had so far in this particular tournament, I still stand by, was when K-Ponce ghost quartered his opponent's cycling land to prevent them from getting one more draw, but that also allowed him to then play a fast land because he was at 4. That knocked him back down. So then he could play a fast land and then play, what was it, Flicker Wisp, I think? Whatever, it was another 3-drop. It was just like, I was like, oh, he can't do Displacer. He was able to do everything, have his cake, and eat it too.
That was great.
Decisions mattering makes Magic better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
agree there, 100%.
Recap of the night: I lost to Garrett Martin. I've got to say that, otherwise Andrea's he's gonna message me later as soon as we get off. He's like,
Wow.
you didn't talk enough about you losing, and I'll be like, all right, I lost. Garrett,
Please
you
write
beat
an
me.
essay about that.
That's great.
Spider Space lost to Yama Killer, then Ghost X Empire beat Garrett, and then Aspiring Spike beat Yama Killer. So we have a lot of exciting magic tomorrow night, starting off with Francisco against me. We're both down, both the elimination bracket, so it's going to be Amulet Titan against, what do you have left? A Ren and 6 Astral Ren deck. This
let me
doesn't
tell
look
you.
good for you. Yeah. Then
Let
we
me
have
tell you
Spider
what's
Space
left.
and Fluffy, and we have a couple more matches based on how the first two matches play out. So do you have any preliminary trash talk, Francisco, here?
I'll just let the magic do the talking. It's fine.
Yeah, trash talk is not needed against you. It's just
It's okay. I'll top deck perfectly anyway. I'm gonna like fly out, meet Garrett. I'm gonna rub his head, and then I'm gonna top deck like Collected Company anytime I need it. It's gonna be perfect. Even though I'm playing prime time, just Collected Company is just gonna pop in there.
Nice.
What happened to Chad S? What happened to being 10-0? I was 10-0. That you can't take that away from me. That happened. But yeah.
That did happen. It was bad.
But I'm not 10-0
It was bad
right now.
already.
I am. What is it? What's that thing say? I think I'm 2-2. Yeah. So.
yes.
But after tomorrow, after I beat Francisco with the deck that he taught me how to play, we'll see. Yeah, it's very hard to be undefeated in anything. You need a lot of luck for that. So
You already used all of it.
I already
the
used it
first
all
time.
up last year. So we'll see. We'll see if I can. No matter what, I have a better record than Kevin. So I'm happy with that.
That's all that really matters in the end, right? All that matters is that Avsan is dead, and that's just a fact. So as long as Avsan remains dead, and Kevin is moving on to greener pastures, all that I want is the best for him. So I'm just trying to.
Except he's back on a Siege Rhino deck. That flickering Siege Rhino deck is his new drug of choice here.
And I thought he was sold, right? I guess he's back on it. We need to do like a nice little intervention for him.
Listen, 4 Siege Rhino is great back when what Jeskai Control was a top tier deck, but you have Luris now. Play Luris.
Yeah, I mean, I guess old habits die hard. I guess I would know. I would know. I have played Amulet in some ugly meta games. Yes, I did.
Sometimes the deck you want to be good. Sometimes playing that is better than playing a deck that you don't like, but is slightly better positioned in the metagame.
Yeah, I mean, Siege Rhino is never ever reasonable to cast. Like, friends don't let friends cast Siege Rhino. That's just the way things are,
This just in, Francisco said, Kevin Wang, his best friend.
Oh man.
So, thank you, Francisco, for hanging out. Andrea, thank you very much for hanging out. The
My
Modern
pleasure.
Streamers League. Check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Modern Streamers. We're sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and by Card Hoarder. We are airing every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until the tournament is over, which by my current projections should be 8 more days, the 28th. We got 4 more nights. We still have one undefeated player being represented right here. We have more than one undefeated player, but Andrea representing the undefeated bracket, so I'm going to be watching with great interest, hoping he loses so that I can pop my champagne and say, yes, no undefeated players this year. Ha 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 ha.
Real story of the MSL is the trash talk, really. That's why we're all here. Everybody's here for the trash talk.
Maybe next year we'll open up the Discord and have like a channel where the viewers can pop in and they can just watch how much. It'd have to be like 18 plus or something. It would have to be, but just see.
So the viewers can instigate the trash talk.
Absolutely.
Start all the trash talks.
Maybe that's something we can have set up.
maybe we can have like different points for the trash talk. Like the viewers can just like rate the quality of the trash talk. Oh man, I'm loving this.
So,
I'm
Say
loving
Doom,
this
your trash
already.
talk is terrible. Get rid of that. Andre, your trash talk is on point. Thumbs up. And then that just means Andrea starts. He's
Oh, I
the
love
starting
this.
player for the next game, or we'll figure something out.
Oh, this is good stuff. Good content. Good content right here.
Well, thank you everyone who watched, future and present. Thank you guys. You guys were excellent at commentary, and thank you Skype for mostly working tonight. So,
You kind of hang in there,
come
right?
on.
Besides right now.
Jinx it. Jinx it.
Tune in tomorrow night. We're leading off Francisco against myself. So may the better Amulet player win.
All right.
Francisco.
Except you can't bring Amulet Titan, so it really stinks for you that this is the matchup that you have because your deck is not well positioned against Amulet Titan. But
Eh,
we'll see.
I'll
We'll
just-
see. I've seen
I'll
you.
just-
I've seen you win from worse places. Let me just say that.
I'll just blink your Titan. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye bye.
Bye.